Alright, so where do I begin? Well, first off, I want to say sorry for this second quitting of a series because I quit Pokemon and I didn't really tell you guys why. The reason being it was too hard, we were dying at first. It wasn't that fun, and we didn't believe that that fun would translate to you guys. But this apology really isn't about that. It's about Sword Art Online Hollow Realization. Yes, I am quitting it. And there's a reason for that. The reason isn't is it's too hard, or I just don't have fun with it. Well, I really don't have fun with it, really. The reason being is the game is just not good. Sword Art Online based off of an MMO, and that is what the anime is. It's an MMO. The anime did it right. They did it very nicely. They made it crisp and clean, and they made it so it wasn't boring and repetitive for people to watch. The games, on the other hand, didn't do it justice. Now, here's the thing. I've been playing Final Fantasy 15. Now, I know what you're saying, two different developers, it wouldn't really be right to compare the two. But in reality, you can truly compare them because Final Fantasy is better at being an MMO than the MMO Sword Art Online. Final Fantasy isn't supposed to be MMO-like. That isn't the point of it. It's a JRPG role-playing game. Sword Art Online is built around the basis of an MMO, but without actually playing with massive multiplayer player base. So, for example, you're running around in Final Fantasy, you have all the worlds that you can explore. The entire landscape is beautiful, it looks nice because it's a AAA developer, and at the same time, it feels like you're experiencing something with others, even though there's nobody really there. And it's an interesting concept. With Final Fantasy, you get the questing stuff. You can only track one quest at a time, but that's way better than not having a quest tracker at all. Sword Art Online has no quest tracker. I'm serious when I say that to complete every quest is just you look at your quest because you forget what you were doing the last time. You close it, you kill an enemy, and then you don't know because they don't let you know how many you have to kill of each one on the screen. You have to physically go into the quest area to find it. This is pretty much the big basis of why I don't want to play Sword Art Online anymore. With Final Fantasy, you go to your quests, you get quest, get it done, turn them in. With Sword Art Online, it's accept, over and over and over again, about 20 to 40 times, with no basis of where to go, how to play it, what enemies to kill, and where to collect things. You have to physically find it. You have to find it yourself. Now, this wouldn't be a big of an issue if it wasn't an MMO. MMO games are built around the idea that each quest is tracked and at least gives you some semblance of an area to go to. Not just pointing you to a whole instance as a whole, but a specific area on the map labeled by circles. Sword Art Online doesn't do that, and that's really frustrating. I've grown up with MMOs all my life. I love MMOs to death. The only MMO that I've ever played that's done it right has been Eden Eternal. Eden Eternal is one of those, anime-free MMORPGs. Obviously, better ones out there, such as World of Warcraft, but that's a completely different story. But to get a good MMO right, you have to have every feature right about it. If you're going to brand yourself like an MMO, then be an MMO, You can't just do specific things and not have it work. Inventory system. Final Fantasy 15. Infinite inventory. You don't gotta worry about it because it makes sense. Because Noctis can pretty much put all his items in an invisible container that he just teleports and brings up at will. Because that's just how Noctis is. It's his lineage that allows him to do that. Kirito is in a virtual reality world, yet he cannot store more than like 10 of each item that he gets, and then even that is limited to stacking and all that, which makes a little bit of sense when you think about it, because a lot of MMOs implement inventory systems, but there's no way to expand your inventory except for the little loot chest thing. And it's just more of an inconvenience than it is a help. Now, if there was an overlying bank system, it would be a lot better for Sword Art Online, but so far you have to go to a chest in the middle of nowhere to accept it, or to get your items back, and that's really, really dumb. What's the other thing? Character development. Character development is a huge, huge thing. Whether you're playing MMOs for the characters or not, you have to have some semblance of character development. Sword Art Online cannot stray away from this because it's an anime. It's based off of characters that are well known and known by almost everybody on the planet. If you see Kirito's face, chances are you're going to think, oh, that's an anime that I've seen before. Now, what's the issue? Well, again, back to Final Fantasy 15, you have 4 dudes. You have 4 people. And if you are just looking at them through a picture, you won't understand them. But when you play the game, you really experience who they are. You see their flaws, weaknesses, their strengths, their quirks. Gladio, he is tough, and he almost looks like he doesn't have a single weakness. However, the truth is he's really nerdy. There are just some quirky things about him where he's just a goofball. That's the thing about him. Noctis is the character that everybody hates at the beginning because you realize that he doesn't really want to be king. He just wants to live a normal life. Prompto, I'm gonna save him for another video. He's pretty cool. Ignis is super good in that he's the stoic, cool, calm, and collected guy, but you can see semblances of insecurities with him with the pictures that Prompto takes of him. He fakes smiles. What does Kirito have for him in all of his harem band of ladies? Well, he's a lady killer. Yeah, that's pretty much all you get about him. In the first season of Sword Art Online, which is undoubtedly the best season of any anime ever, and I know I'm going to get a lot of hate for that, but I believe it's one of the most real moments in an anime, is Kirito bonding with Azuna, Silica, and whatever the Priscilla is the name of the girl, the dragon thing, but you know what I mean. Those first 4 girls that he bonds with, or 3, well, yeah, plus Yui, is a good thing. He isn't actively pursuing them to have a relationship with them. He's actually actively pursuing Azuna, which is the person that he loves. And then they introduce them more seasons and more seasons. They introduce his sister cousin. They introduce another AI which is in love with him or whatever, like Yui. They introduce that one chick with the gun. And then in the games, they introduce like 5 more chicks, and it doesn't make sense. These women are characterless because there are so many of them. It is oversaturated character development. Only the likable characters in there are I can't remember the black guy's name. I'm sorry. And then the other dude. Whatever. I'll show them on screen. But you get my point. Kirito also becomes oversaturated because now, in the present day and age, he is actively pursuing other girls. Now, I know what you're thinking. Hat, you can make your own character. You can be a male or a female. Well, that makes no lick of difference when every single character refers to you as Kirito. You are literally playing as Kirito, but your character looks different for whatever the heck reason it is. Because the person you were playing as in-game is Kirito in the virtual reality, and he made his own character. That's pretty much the basis of it. What the heck? I thought it was going to be different. I thought we were going to have different stories based on gender or whatever. And the whole 9 yards. Why offer that sort of the idea of story development if you're just going to make it one character story? Heck, not even making a separate voice actor for a female version of Kirito. That just kind of ruins it for me. I was surprised, and it was honestly hilarious when I heard Kirito's voice come out of my female character. But now it's like, why didn't they just go the extra mile and make it right? You can't just say they were on a budget, because that makes no sense. They made a cheap game and they're not getting out of it. Final Fantasy 15, there are bugs and flaws in the game, but it's okay because everything else is just near perfect and good. You have things popping in and out of view, well, that's fine. You can't expect a perfect game. But with the low budget and the copy and paste areas of Sword Art Online, you expect it to be better, more polished, easier to make. It makes no sense why it is the way it is. I lost my train of thought, but I don't really want to keep on going about ragging down Sword Art Online. Obviously, if you like story development, that's fine, but let's get real. You're there for the story, not really there to fight through endless hordes of monsters that you were trying to find, to level up at a snail's pace, just to progress through the story. That's actually another issue I have. The leveling is probably the slowest I've ever seen, ever, in any game. I've never seen leveling progression that slow. It is tedious, annoying, and just it's disgusting. The other thing I hate is bonding with other characters. I spent 4 hours trying to get what's-her-face, the NPC, to a higher level, but they restrict how much you can bond with an NPC per day, in-game day. What the heck? And not to mention, it takes forever to do. That's really dumb. I'm sorry, I'm getting mad. You need to condense that. You need to shorten the time for everything so that people aren't sitting there for days and days on end doing one stupid little thing just to get a character that's better than everyone else so they can win in a PvP or PvE situation. I don't even know if there's PvP in that game. It wouldn't surprise me if there wasn't, to be honest. The sex appeal. The sex appeal is another thing that I just don't get. I understand that a lot of people out there are being like, hey, Hat, I mean, it's anime. All anime is sexual. And while I could prove you wrong, you are right on a lot of things. But the thing for Sword Art Online is, again, back to that first season, it was puns for the sexual tension. It was a joke for most of it. Probably the real true sexual part was when Kirito and Asuna break the rules of the game and they go live out a life in the game. But that is 100% acceptable. It makes sense. They love each other to death, and they are probably never going to get out of the game ever again, although we know they did. Now it's like, well, now you can flirt with every character, now you can get bed scenes with every character, and that frustrates me because I know there are a lot of people out there who are like, well, I can pair whoever I want with whoever I want, but it's canon that they're supposed to be together, and that's the thing. You can't really tear that apart. Maybe I'm just very conservative with my ways of anime viewing, but that's just the way I see it. They did it on purpose. They did it so that they would be together. And to betray a trust and friendship like that just doesn't make sense to me, you know? And what's even worse is they wrote Kirito to go along with it. Like, what the heck? They wrote Kirito to want to do that stuff. Kirito isn't like that. Kirito is a guy. He's a normal person who, with a split-second decision, decided to become the enemy of everybody just so everybody can benefit. He is smart. He isn't dumb, and he isn't a player. Because, obviously, he stays away from girls, but now with Hollow Realization, he is forcing himself onto women. And it doesn't make sense to me, you know? It's just my biggest complaint, you know? What's another thing? Combat-wise, it's fine. I like the combat, but the thing that they really should work on is they have repetitive movements for fights. All your party members die really fast. And, you know, that would be alright if they were smarter and they died. I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me. Final Fantasy 15, back to that one. Your party members die fast if you're fighting an enemy that's like 50 levels above you. You can manage to beat that 50 levels above you enemy in Final Fantasy if you're playing right, but the enemies swap up their moves. They may have a, you know, set move set, but they don't just do the same moves once or twice. Sword Art Online, I run into enemies that do 1 move, 2 move, 3 move. 1 move, 2 move, 3 move. And I have defeated them like that. It may have taken me 20 minutes, but I have done it. And I hated it. It was really stupid. At that point, it's like party members are useless because they just get in your way and they draw aggro away from you, and then it messes up your rhythm and then you die. That is basically what they do in Sword Art Online. I don't know if this video probably doesn't matter to anybody, nor the developers of the game. If they would patch it, great. Put my name on the list of people who wanted to patch the game. Whatever. Just right now in its current state, $60 is too much to ask for. $30 is better. $30 base price, $40 base price is fine. But with that money, if you're looking to go and buy Sword Art Online right now, go and buy Final Fantasy 15 instead. You will have a better experience with that because Final Fantasy is a better MMO than Sword Art Online is. Completely honest with you. You will sink hours into Final Fantasy. So please go and buy that instead. This is not a paid video. This is just my opinion. Save your money and get something that you will actually like. Thank you. Au revoir, ladies and gentlemen. Au revoir.